Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson has been hailed by many as one of the most important and useful books related to change. While not specifically related to organizational change, the principles that are explored in this short and very readable book can easily apply to change on both a macro and micro level. Unfortunately, in the time it will take me to summarize and explain the book, you could be about halfway done with it. So, if what you see and hear here is intriguing to you at all, I highly recommend that you pick up the book and spend about 45 minutes learning these principles yourself. Now, on to the book. Who Moved My Cheese is a parable in 3 parts. The first part tells the story of friends at a high school reunion, discussing the changes that have taken place in their lives since graduation. One person then tells the story of Who Moved My Cheese, which makes up the core of the book. The book ends with the friends discussing what they got out of the story. The first and the last parts are a little cheesy, yes, pun intended, but can certainly help to summarize what one reads in the main section. The story of the moving cheese centers on 4 characters. 2 are simple mice, named Sniff and Scurry. These mice are simple creatures, acting on what they see and hear rather than thinking too much about what is happening or clouding their reason with emotional attachment. The other 2 characters, Hem and Haw, are known as little people. Although roughly the size of mice, these little people have many of the same characteristics as humans. They are prone to the same emotions and reactions as people, but, like people, are also able to reason more completely. All of these characters search for cheese, with a capital C. To us, cheese represents whatever we want it to. A good career, a stable family, extra free time, anything. Sniff and Scurry, Hem and Haw search for cheese inside the maze. As our story opens, each character is quick to get up in the morning, put on their exercise clothes, and make their way out into the maze to search for cheese. While they often find some cheese to satisfy their immediate needs, they have yet to find a big store, enough to keep them comfortable for a long time. Until finally, it happens. They stumble into Cheese Station C and are met with mountains of cheese, enough to last them what seems like forever. From then on, Sniff, Scurry, Hem, and Haw make going to Cheese Station C their daily routine. No longer did they need to go out into the maze to find cheese. They already knew where there was plenty. But differences began to surface between the 4 characters. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, still awoke early each day, put on their running shoes, and arrived at Cheese Station C early. Once there, they tied their running shoes around their necks so they would always know where they were. Hem and Haw, though, started to become complacent. They woke a little later each day, dressed how they wanted, and quickly forgot what it was like in the maze. They also began to see their cheese as their cheese. They became entitled to it, and their entire lives revolved around the presence and predictability of that cheese. The longer they were comfortable in Cheese Station C, the lazier Hem and Haw became, until one day. Our 4 characters arrived at Cheese Station C to find that the cheese had left. Sniff and Scurry surveyed the area, discovered that the day they had expected had arrived, and immediately went off in search of new cheese. Hem and Haw, though, were livid. They had come to rely on the cheese, even though it had started to get a little old and slightly moldy. It didn't matter that it was not very exciting to the taste buds, or that it offered no adventure in seeking it. The cheese was theirs, and someone had moved it. While Sniff and Scurry leapt into action and began looking for new, different cheese, Hem and Haw were unable to get over their anger at the fact that the cheese, their cheese, was no longer there. So they did what they had always done. Got up late, without putting on their running shoes, and went to Cheese Station C. Obviously, this did them no good, and probably would have continued if Hem hadn't found his old sense of humor. After a long period of fearing that what the maze would be like, Hem finally learned to laugh at himself and his foolishness. He needed cheese, and wanted new cheese, but was not doing anything to obtain it. It was silly. So one day, he set out into the maze in search of new cheese. He invited Haw to come with him, but Haw was so stuck on the fact that the cheese had been moved that he was unable to bring himself to search for new cheese. So Hem set out, determined to find new cheese. As he left, he wrote the following words on the wall of Cheese Station C. As he made his way into the maze, Hem learned many different lessons about change. One of the first things he learned was that as soon as he left his fear behind, as soon as he learned to laugh at himself, he also sprung into action. He was sure that the fear had kept him in Cheese Station C for so long. Also, once he got out into the maze, he realized that it wasn't nearly as bad as he thought it would be. In fact, when he thought about it a bit more, he realized that he actually kind of enjoyed being in the maze again. Sure, things had changed, and he still wasn't 100% sure if he would find new cheese. But just moving felt good, and it certainly felt better than just sitting and wondering where his cheese had gone. However, he did notice that he was a bit weak, and he needed to find some cheese soon. Suddenly it hit him. If he had only started moving when Sniff and Scurry left, he would not be so weak, and would probably have found new cheese already. On the other hand, if he had stayed with Haw, he may not have lasted much longer. Now may be a good time to remind us that cheese isn't just food. Cheese is a metaphor for just about anything. And as Hem learned, if we don't change, we will quickly become irrelevant, if not extinct. The members of a famous football team learned the same lesson.
Let's coach, man. What do you want with us now? Coaches ain't called us a meeting tonight. We did.
Hey, how y'all gonna walk out on your teammate like that? He say he got something to say, y'all got to listen. Turn around, turn around. Where you going? Turn around.
Coach Boone brought us this far, y'all. But he ain't gonna be there for us forever, man. So what? We won a few games. And y'all fools think that's something? Man, that ain't nothing, y'all. And you know what else? We ain't nothing either. Yeah, we came together in camp. Cool. But then we're right back here and the world tells us that they don't want us to be together. We fall apart like we ain't a damn bit of nothing, man. And y'all think we done won something? Man, we ain't won nothing, y'all. Nothing.
Rev, what's that you're always telling me when I get sick of trying to keep up with my grades and stuff? Even youths grow tired and weary. Even young men stumble and fall. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength.
Amen. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Amen. Amen, right?
That's right, right?
Yeah.
They will soar on wings like eagles.
Like eagles, y'all. Like eagles, y'all.
They will walk and not grow faint.
Y'all gonna play like you ain't got no heart? No! You all want a victory? Yeah! You all want a victory?
Yeah! The longer he went without finding new cheese, the more discouraged Hem became. He was enjoying his time in the maze, to be sure, but he was ready to find his new cheese and return to a level of comfort that he was used to. As he was thinking about this, he started to dream about what he would do when he found new cheese. It wouldn't just be processed American cheese, no. He was dreaming of Gouda, an extra sharp cheddar, maybe some feta, and suddenly he felt like going much faster. Just the act of envisioning himself enjoying new cheese spurred him into greater action. So he stopped to write on the wall. Hem found himself in parts of the maze he had never been, and began to reflect on what he had learned. First off, no one was entitled to cheese. Each person had to work for their own cheese, and while it's easy to begin to think of some cheese as my cheese, that's not an accurate description of cheese. Yes, it's cheese, but that's it. It belongs to no one. Also, the longer the cheese is around, the greater the likelihood it will turn bad. That means that we always have to be looking for new cheese. Not my cheese, but just new cheese. This will keep us and our cheese fresh. That means we need to begin to change the way we think about life. When we begin to think in new ways, our cheese will become new. Then suddenly it happened. He turned a corner and there it was. New cheese. Sniff and Scurry were already there, as expected, and welcomed him with open arms. Hem couldn't believe all the new and exciting kinds of cheese that awaited him. It was even better than he imagined it would be. As he was enjoying his new cheese, he began to think of Ha and whether he had decided to move out of Cheese Station C. Hem thought about going back to him, but he realized that it probably wouldn't work. Ha knew that the cheese was no longer there, and the only way to find it was to go out into the maze and find new cheese. As he settled in, Hem put his running shoes where he knew he could find them again, because he knew that eventually he would have to move. Just as he was beginning to drift off into a cheese-induced sleep, he thought over the lessons he had learned. As we wind up our story, it's important to remember that change happens, and the quicker we are able to laugh at it, find our courage, and move with the changes, the more successful we will be. So, regardless of what your cheese is, when it's moved, or gone, make your way out into the maze and find new cheese. Happy hunting.